So in this video, I want to explain the difference between chat reading and chat answering. In one of my previous videos, I've explained the difference between these two concepts, although I call it a different word. In that video, I said the difference between chat reading and chat interpretation. But when you look at it grammatically or linguistically, it almost means the same thing. You might find it difficult to differentiate between chat reading and chat interpretation. You'll find the two words as the same. Whereas if you are finding the two words as the same, it means you will not get the message I intended to pass. Because in my own language, there's what we call tutukati and kewukati, which is like what a two different words, which was what I was trying to explain by saying that there's a difference between chat reading and chat interpretation. But if you could not get the difference in words, then how could you then get difference in meaning? Because when you look at the word interpretation and reading, it almost the same thing. So now that is one of the reasons why I'm changing the name in a way that we understand. Remember that the name is not originally called chat interpretation or chat whatever. It is I translated it from my own original language to because in my language or in Eastern Geomancy generally, there's what we call tutukati and keukati. The word I'm using is my language. So now, what I want to explain is this. Generally, there are two basic way or two major way of interpreting a chart. Whenever a geometer bring a chart before you, it's either the person want to use interpretation method or the person want to use answering method. Whenever a chart is between but in most cases, some people usually combine the two, while some people just focus on the one aspect. So then what the question is that what is the meaning of what chart reading and chart answering? Is either you call it chart reading or you call it chart interpretation, both means one. Chart reading or you call it chart interpretation, both means one, referring to the same techniques. Why chart answering is referring to another word, techniques of war answering a war, a geometry chart. So the major purpose of this video is to explain the difference, the meaning of those two words, to make it more clearly understood. Although like I said, I've explained this in one of the video before, but the difference in the way there's the difference in the words now. Now, what is the meaning of war chat reading and what is the meaning of war chat answering? Now, when you are talking about chat reading or chat interpretation, both means the same word, I repeat. So, when you are talking about chat reading or chat interpretation, you are talking about interpreting a geometry chart in a way that it doesn't literally concerned with what querent is basically asking about. Let's say a querent call for a particular question, either for a relationship or finance or for anything. You are now using chat reading or chat interpretation method. You might indirectly talk about what the querent asked about. You might indirectly talk about what the querent asked about. um which means that chat reading or chat interpretation is don't focus on what the querent intentionally or directly come for. Although in the process of chat reading or chat interpretation, you might talk about what querent directly comes for or came to inquiry about. I hope you understand. So chat reading is like doing a general understanding, giving a general interpretations or general reading or general interpretation of figures or general reading into what is happening in the life of the work querent generally. So I repeat, chat reading or chat interpretation is doing the word interpretation or readings of the themes of the chat in a way that talks about the general occurrence, general event that happen in the life of one querent. Question that querent came to inquire about is part of the thing that is happening in his life, which means that when the process of doing chat reading or chat interpretation, you might talk about what the querent basically came for. And the reason why I say you might is that because that reading is a general interpretation. So mostly people usually use either domino to answer to carry out that information, or use individual figure, symbolic figure that appear in houses to do that. You understand? But so there's a way they normally do it technically. That is why sometimes when you go to some people, when they are doing, you go to their place to do reading, they'll be talking about other things that you not talk about that are also important or concern you. So the information I usually gotten from the dormiro of the figure. Apart from that, there's technically what we call chart reading itself. So they usually got that information from chart reading. While you are reading the chart, what I mean, but let me break this down a bit more. When you write something, maybe when you write a letter to somebody, you are now reading that letter one after the other. Make you to read the first paragraph, use the second paragraph. There's a way they normally do that with geomancy chart as well. That is basically what chart reading is even talking about. You are reading what the chart says. What does this? You are reading what the chart says. You are not reading what the querent want to hear. You are not reading what is in geomancy mind or geomancer mind. You are not reading what is in geomancer. You are seeing what the chart say, what letters, what the letter that come from the chart. You are reading it out. Just like you cast a chart and you have done your Geomancy figure has appeared here. You are not giving the message that comes with it, what the chart says. So basically, chart reading is like what saying what the chart says, not what the querent says or what the geomancer says. You are saying what the chart says, and in the process of saying what the chart says, you'll be saying what the querent basically asks about. That is what a chart reading is. There's a basically method. There's a what, because if I did that might take a long time to explain, but I just want you to understand it. I might be saying that later. I want you to basically understand what chart reading is. That is basically what chart reading is. It's a big technique. It's a big something on its own. It's a very good something on its own. So I hope that is clear. Now there's another method of interpreting a geometry chart, which is called chart answering. Now that chart answering is basic and simple. The basic and simple is that, well, what is the querent came to ask about? You are answering that directly, nothing more, nothing added, nothing removed. You are answering that. You understand? Querent asks a particular question. Oh, this is your question. Maybe the person asks about finance question. You answer, you say whatever aspect of the word finance aspect of it. Or querent asks about what relationship. You answer or you discuss with the querent based on the based on the word relationship, something that the person came for. That is chat answering. You are answering the specific question querent came to or ask about. Do you understand that? So there are method for that. Basically, which is more popular. It's either you are using what perfection method or you are using coida. In Eastern geometry, there's what we call coida. Coida means what? A particular technique meant to answer a particular question. Like in finance now, there are coida meant for finance. There are finance coida, there are relationship coida, there are pregnancy coida. That is coida method of answering them individually without lumping things together. So you understand? So that is what that means. What the geomancer is doing, what chart answering. If geomancer is answering a particular question that querent intentionally or directly came to ask about, so it means that well, the geomancer is doing what chart answering. If the geomancer is not talking about other things apart from what the querent comes about, it's not the word. It is called what chart reading, or you call it chart interpretation. So I hope this is more clear to understand. So thank you for watching the video. May God bless you miraculously. Please share this so that can get there. People also want to learn about geomancy or thereabout. So when you share it, they have the opportunity to know more about it, so that geomancy will not go it will be more popular. And there are some countries where geomancy is not well known, but when you are sharing, it might have opportunity to get to their own space. And when you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you have opportunity to get notification whenever a new post is made. So thank you for watching the video from beginning to the end. To this point, may God bless you miraculously.